All right, we're recording, so
Okay,
and
ready?
I'll let
Okay.
people in as they get in. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started with our conference meeting and our work session this evening. The first thing I'd like to do is present the board the school calendar and revision for the school calendar to reflect our continuity of education plan. As I stated, and as in the in board docs, we are going to postpone the start of school for students for the 31st, for teachers for 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th will be all professional development days to help the teachers who have been doing professional development since the middle of March. So we'll continue to help them and prepare so that we can be ready to teach no matter what sentence. I mean, what we decide to do this evening. So I'm putting a calendar in front of you. Do you have the calendar, or is there any questions? If anybody needs a copy? Second, my return to school education plan. Emily, if you would be so kind. The board did have a chance to view the educational plan. We worked very hard. I have to tell the board and our visitors, those of you that are here tonight or on the virtual part, we worked very hard at this collectively as an administrative team. Everyone had some input in it. I think especially Emily and Tracy for their technology expertise, and they were able to put this in a PowerPoint so it doesn't take us. It's going to take some time. I was on another district the other day. It took us approximately 3 hours. I promise you, I'll at least have it down to an hour. So, Em, if you want to show it.
Okay.
Louder.
Louder for me.
I know.
We there? Okay. Newcastle Area School District return to education, our school education plan. The first part of it is a message from the superintendent. I will be releasing this letter just to give the board an idea real quick what I've been doing this week, what I'm going to be doing tomorrow morning. I'm meeting with my staff at 11 o'clock in the morning so that they'll have an idea of exactly what our education plan is. No more guessing, and we can move forward with it. Also on Thursday, I plan to have a so-called town meeting, parent meeting at 1 o'clock. We're going to be sitting just like we're sitting now, and there will be a forum of all the administrators and myself to talk to the families so that we make them feel comfortable in whatever decision they want to make after the event. So, in my letter, without reading it all, if you have any questions, I just want to emphasize there are 4 guiding principles that help us make this decision: the health, the safety, food and nutrition, and the social emotional learning, and the quality education, and then that order. So that made me absolutely feel that those were our 4 guiding principles at this time. And as you saw in my letter, we revised the calendar as I asked you to do, and asking the parents, as all stakeholders, thanking them for understanding and continuing to work with us. Okay. To give you a little bit of background, in there it talks about what we've been doing and what our plans were. To give you a little bit of a background, May to June 2020, we had weekly meetings. Many of our administrators were involved with local and regional superintendents meeting. I was involved with it. I actually got a nickname for to tell you the more. Thank Cameron, that we gave you a nickname. And because every time she called me, I was on the website. So I was on with many local and regional superintendents along with my staff. I was on with curriculum directors. Joe's been on with the business managers. My administrator's been on with the IU, the intermediate units. Both intermediate units 3 and 4. We've been on with PPE in preparation of returning to school. school. So essentially, once we got school up and running as a new school in March, those are different scenarios that we're going to post tonight. We may start to prepare for the school year. In June, we implemented summer flex professional development for teachers. Our teachers are doing these professional development. We anticipated, because we knew there wasn't going to be a vaccine, we anticipated all of the different ways of instruction, and we offered professional development for them with technology in this way. That's the event we are going to do. On June 16th, the Department of Education and Department of Health issued a public health guidance regarding COVID-19 for phased reopening for pre-K to 12 schools, which will greatly impact our fans. The upcoming school year, it did actually impact it. And then on the 22nd, the recentralization of support and recommendations, approved and submitted. Now, we all know that has changed, and I do have some information at the end of this plan. We'll talk a little bit about sport. On June 24th, we developed an NCASD Return to School Committee formed and the meetings commenced. On June 25th, we were quite busy, as you can see. Pennsylvania Department of Education recently partnered with the Mid-Atlantic Regional Education Laboratory to provide research regarding school reopening. Consideration for reopening with Pennsylvania schools is a 64-page report. Once this is released and it is on our web, all of these documents that I'm referring to will have a link. You will be able to access them if you are not able to do it already. It encourages schools to look at non-traditional education models. Information within the report also quantifies lots of learning that occurs throughout the spring. So we don't want to do that. We want to do a totally different model. July 6, 2020, PD released information that addresses the minimal instructional time. This is very, very important as we move forward. The minimal instruction time is 180 days, 900 hours for elementary students, and 990 hours for secondary students. We must stay in those lines. So I'm telling you today that is something we're looking at. I mean, not we're looking at, that is a section. So we need to on July 10th, right after the 4th of July, we put out a parent family survey administered about returning to school, their preferences, whether we wanted to do virtual or we wanted to do some sort of hybrid or whatever. The results are here in a moment. I'll show it to you. On July 20th, school board meeting, we talked a little bit about reopening and about staffing. On July 23rd to the 31st, I met with a pandemic task force meeting. It's still ongoing. It will continue throughout the year until we come to a solution. It was very, very well received. Many, many people offered to be on it. Some board members and stuff were on it and worked out well. Teaching and learning planning on the 30th, workshop series of educators and administrators commenced. Now, if you see this on, and I have to commend the staff and the administrators who led it. If you see the staff that took time out of their own vacation time to be a part of this team and to come up with different strategies that will make our children learn, it's amazing. They've done a great job. And I would be remiss if I didn't say that the teachers who are on that team that were either selected or volunteered, we thank them for it because they did a great job. Then on August 10th, the Newcastle Area School District was today. I'm putting in front of you my recommendation to all the institutions. A lot of homework along with my administration. I'm going to ask you to go to the team.
Oh, here. Hey.
Health and safety plan in your hands. To vote on the new revised calendar. Any questions as of right now before I go on? Okay, good. Okay, what is the goal for our plan? I need to read this because I would be remiss not to. The goal of this plan is to provide students the best possible educational experience possible during this unprecedented time. Our planning process is outlined in the superintendent's message has brought many community stakeholders to the table to offer advice, feedback, and creative solutions to the many challenges we see before us. And accept it. While we know and understand the full-time additional in-person instruction for all students, every day is our goal. Due to the rising numbers of positive COVID-19 cases in Lawrence County, we have made the decision to open school in a virtual learning environment as we believe this is the safest option for our students and staff. Now, with that being said, our administration is making that recommendation. I need the board to approve the decision. So when I say that, that's something that I want to know that we are I'm asking you to take it all. Through the use of parent and staff surveys, meetings, various committees, conversation with local and regional educational leaders, and a critical look at our virtual learning program we delivered in the spring, we have made many improvements to our virtual learning program, including but not limited to screencasting, Sapphire, parent and student portals, video conferencing, virtual schedules, more professional development and guidelines for teachers to bring some uniformity across the grade levels. As we have learned over the past 5 months, circumstances related to COVID-19 evolve constantly, so we know they won't be permanent. The pandemic task force is set to meet bi-weekly, discuss adjustments and modifications to the plan. I will tell you this, but every day we do. Every day. So, we will continue to monitor the information of the Pennsylvania Department of Education, the Pennsylvania Department of Health, the CDC, and any other alternatives daily that help us make adjustments to the safety features. The Newcastle area school district has included in their reopening plan a tentative timeline for returning to school. There will be an option for students at all grade levels. Please take time to read through the information carefully as you eventually need to make a very important decision for your youth. So with that being said, this is what we're going to send out to the Department of Ed. Department of Ed. This is how it works. So what brought this on that we are looking at a virtual meeting? If you look at increasing positive COVID cases in Lawrence County from July 10th to 14th, there were 55 cases. The following week to the 19th, 15th, and 19th, there were 25. From 20th to 24th, there were 30 cases. From July 25th to the 29th, there were 40 cases. And from July 30th to August 6th, there were 50 cases, which gave us 203 new cases in 1 month. It was pretty disturbing as we read that. We saw that we needed to make a decision because it's only fair for parents to see what we're doing so that they can make arrangements. The survey results. The survey results are unbelievable. The third education method. 48.7% wanted the traditional instruction, the social distancing. 45.2% wanted the online and Newcastle cyber, which is going to change a bit here. Born 3% other than cyber. The blue 2.6 combination of both, and 0.4% wanted cyber. That's out of we have 3,100 students. With that being said, a little over, that was 2,530 responses. And we worked hard to get those responses. Will your children be attending school in person or need a ride on to the school bus? This changed a little bit, which surprised me, but as we got more numbers, 53%, 53.3% said yes, they would ride the bus. 43.7% said no, they would not, and 3% were undecided. We asked basic questions, so we didn't want to do too much detail on home. This frightened me, even though the number is a little bit, we only needed a little number to tell you that it's not very safe. Some parents, will your children be attending school in person and be able to wear a mask is required? 84.4 said yes. This is, people may look at that and say 15.6 is relatively low, but not be wearing masks. So with all that being said, this is why tonight I am going to present to you. Just to go on, Newcastle area buildings is returning to school planning stakeholders. As you can see, many of people sat on this committee. And teaching and learning and planning committee for educators and administrators. Many of our teachers, we have our administrators, we have our support staff that sat on this committee. So we have committees going at all times. So when you call me, that's when I say, well, that's what our yeah, but okay. Then what we did is we took the big committees and we broke them up into small. We put subcommittees together for school safety, security and visitors. That was headed by Rich Patrona, Ralph Belendo, Joanne Virginie, and people were able to sign up for whatever subgroup they wanted to sign up for. The teaching and learning committee was headed by Emily Sanders and Tabitha Marino, and we had a couple of parents who signed up on it. I love that. School day, staff and students, we had a variety of people that was headed up by David Antuano and Donald Romeo, and many of our staff members and parents got onto that committee also. We did a food service and cafeteria committee, headed up by Jeremy Bergman. You can see the members on that. Technology, headed up by James Foster and Emily Sanders. School transportation was headed up by myself and Bart Snyder. Special Service Committee was headed up by John Mazzocco, and I don't know how your name got off of this, John. We need to correct that before we send it in. Set up by John Mazzocco with many parents, many staff and parents supporting it. Also, clean maintenance and other CDC mitigation efforts was headed up by Carol Morrell and Joey Anderson. And then what we did at the end of this, of all this, we brought it together and we reported out to the entire committee, and we were able to come up with a plan. Okay, we're sending this on. If we do get the okay tonight, board approved for the revised school calendar tonight, for the 2021 school year. Then on August 24th, Teachers First and Service Day, Teachers and Service Training begins through the 27th. We will be off of school on the 28th, and then the first day of students at school for students will be August 31st, and the new term, which we will be revisiting every time we have a board meeting or whatever, will begin on November 4th. So what I will be proposing tonight is I will be proposing that from the beginning of school till November 3rd, that we do first. And I'll explain how we want to do that. So that's 9 weeks exactly. And on the 4th, we get to November the 4th is the second term. So we're doing that since there's a big presentation here. I've asked Emily to talk about the different virtual teaching that we'll be doing and what our key terminology is. And to be honest with you, we are all learning together. I mean, we finally got a handle on all this, we've done this, but I've asked Emily to talk about all the different technologies and different how it's going to be doing. So Emily, if you don't mind, jump in.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. de Blasio. Okay, so I just have some definitions here. I'm going to try not to read word for word, but for parents in the community and even students and teachers to understand, you know, the different educational models that we have and we'll be offering to families in the upcoming school year. We have to all have some sort of common language around these sorts of terms. And if you guys have been following the news and conversations and you know, online discussions and, you know, social media, you'll notice that schools all use different terminology, remote learning, virtual learning, distance learning, online learning, and, you know, they all, in this sense, mean similar things. So we just have to adopt some language that we are going to be comfortable with and move forward with and just have the kind of give the same message. So, you know, we are talking about going back in a virtual learning environment. So everything we're talking about is virtual teaching and learning. And some of the breakdowns of what you're going to see in the models, educational models that come after this, is some of the words that we want you to be familiar with. So synchronous and asynchronous. So synchronous is that real-time learning with the teacher, with your classmates. A lot of times it has to do with a particular, you get on at a certain time of day and your teacher's there on the video conferencing tool or app, and you get to see some live interaction. Sometimes synchronous learning can also be, where they're on virtually and just talking through chat features, those sorts of things. Asynchronous work is what you probably saw a lot of in the spring, where we gave students self-paced work, pushed it out through Google Classroom, and pretty much that asynchronous work can be done at any time, any point in time during the day. We noticed a lot of high school students in the spring were doing a lot of learning, at midnight, at 1 a.m. And that's where the asynchronous work can come into play. And those can be a lot of misconceptions around asynchronous work. And what we're going to try to clarify for our teaching staff is, asynchronous work doesn't all have to be digital and online. It can be non-digital, or we call plugged and unplugged. So we're going to talk more about that and giving teachers some guidelines and some different scenarios, what that might look like. So then when we talk about synchronous, we talk about some different tools, and video conferencing is a technique where you use, and a lot of us, we're doing it right now. We're on a Zoom meeting and we are, chiming in and looking in and talking all through a video conferencing app which is called Zoom. Our district right now has been using Google Meet as it is integrated with our Google Apps for Education platform. And so that's what one we're using at the moment, and probably what we're going to keep endorsing moving forward. Screencasting is a little bit different. Screencasting is primarily used for digital video recording of a computer screen. So if we were videoing this and we all weren't on there at the same time, we would just tape this. A teacher might record a online discussion, an online kind of direct instruction using PowerPoints or using a whiteboard, and they might just be video recording their computer. And that's kind of what a screencast is. A lot of that you can save, archive, push out into your Google Classroom, and kids can watch it at any time. There are many different apps out there. There are free apps, there are subscription apps, and we are right now purchasing Screencastify for everybody in the district. And so what that means is we get the upgraded features. It's more robust than the free version. We had some teachers piloting it in the spring, and we heard nothing but positive feedback. So that's the one we will be endorsing for our teachers to use as well. Live streaming is part of what we're talking about when we do talk about synchronous. Part of that could be live streaming. And, for those of you that maybe saw the graduation in June, that was live stream, and you could watch it right on the website using, I think, a YouTube channel. So that's a type of live streaming event. Or, you might consider turning your computer on and having a camera and the teacher be in front of the classroom and teaching a lesson at the board and students be able to see it. So, video conferencing is type of what we're doing now, and we're live, but then there's also live streaming where, you could use different tools for recording what teachers are doing. And then finally, the LMS, which stands for Learning Management System. We are using, and it's basically a way, it's like an online classroom, kind of a dashboard, if you will, a website, if you will, that's very interactive and has interactive features. And right now we are using Google Classroom, which is what we started in the spring, and many of our teachers were using prior to that. It's not as robust as some of the other learning management systems, and we've talked about that. However, right now Google Classroom is free. Our teachers have some familiarity with it and confidence in using it. So other LMS you might see on social media or in the news is Schoology and Canvas. Canvas is used a lot in the higher ed kind of environments, but we are going to stick with Google Classroom for now and see if something calls, if we see a need, we might relook at, upgrading an LMS system for possibly a high school setting. But we also found out too with our Sapphire trainings this summer that they actually have an LMS feature built in. So we might be able to even grow into that some. So Those are the terms. I don't know, Debbie, if anybody had any questions before we go on to the models. Those would be the main terms to look out for in these models.
Any questions on the teaching and learning? Emily, one other thing, do you see the board and how you can see a wide view of us?
Do I? Yeah.
Are you able to see it? You see Mike waving to you?
Yeah.
Anyway,
No,
that is one of
Mike's
the
on his phone.
Yes, well, he was waving 2 minutes ago.
Oh. Yeah, I can see
So
him. He's
that's
leaning back.
That's one of the cameras that we purchased to look into, that we decided to go with it in the costume.
Perfect.
Yes. Okay, so now let's get into the potatoes of it.
All right, Debbie, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, okay?
Who is? She said she was coming up, yeah.
She was in. I let her in like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, maybe I'll be glad.
Yeah, she's in.
Okay. So we're going to get into the part that's very important, what I'm going to be, well, all of the work. This is one here, the K-12 virtual learning model, asynchronous, synchronous for the 9-week program. Please note, families who will continue with the Newcastle area schools with their virtual learning model. That's option 1. For the first 9 weeks do not need to do anything further, so that I can explain this better to you, so that everyone understands it. The best way to say is that our teachers will be on the computer every day during a period or during a given time. The schedules will be given out for all of the teachers, all of the students. Principals will be mailing them out, showing them. Our teachers will be on the computer. Now, for them to be on the computer for the whole 7 hours, not going to happen. But they will be on it at the beginning of every period, and they'll be on it the whole time. They're not actively. So when Emily said synchronous, or they're going to do. We're actually going to do professional development for parents too, as we already have done. And Tracy's actually recorded Google Classroom professional development for parents to do on. So the teachers will be on it. The best way I can explain it to you is that, say for example, and I'm going to go down as well as kindergarten, they're learning about the season of fall. And they're on, you can't keep a kindergarten on for 4 hours teaching them about fall. You can do several different activities. We're going to be setting up packages with them for materials, whether it's construction paper, whether it's food sticks, whether it's scissors, the blunt scissors for the baby, whether it's pencils, crayons. So we reached out to the teachers last week, and we asked them to come up with some materials with supplement what they're doing on the computers. Also, one of the things we talked about is that once a child learns about fall, we might have them to look for a specific lead. Maybe do a lead level. Have them do things. We need to get them actively engaged. We need for them to learn their better. The teachers will be available, and they will be doing the work. The great thing about option 1 is that it's our teachers in real time doing work. It's our teachers that will be having virtual office hours. It's our teachers that will be looking at, so the child may not see the teacher every day in person, but they'll certainly see them on the computer. So it's very important. The second option is the Newcastle Cyber Academy. Once a parent will make a decision that they want to go with the cyber, those are recorded online lessons that go along with their curriculum. Is a little different than ours, so we can work with it quite a bit different. But there's no whole time teaching. There's no you have to make a commitment for 18 weeks because we purchased the license and they will take it unless the commitment is there for 18 weeks. If parents decide to do that, as you see in that little note in there, we say declaration of enrollment. It's a sheet that also explains to the parents on Thursday. They need to fill it out. Put that link, fill it out, and then one of us will contact them or whoever I put in charge of cyber education. Will then contact them and set them up for cyber. Those options are good if you want our teachers, you want real-time teachers, and you want our students to be with their teachers and know them. Option one will be the one that I'm thinking a lot of our parents will go with, but if they want cyber, we have that available too. Those are the two options for term one. Term two, this continues, and we continue with, we're not looking for a vaccination, we're not looking for, this is how most of the schools that are much smaller than us, I think the next one back in this town is like 2,000. By the way, Lawrence County, Union School District, Newcastle School District, and Outback, all these over. And we are numbers in all those 2,000 students. So term two, which would be starting November the 4th, would be an abbreviated day with in-person instruction along with it. So we would bring the kids in. That's one of our K to 5 options. We would bring the students in, and we would have some type of in-person instruction, and then in the afternoon, send them home and do some virtual instruction so we can get to go in the school. Yeah. Another option, the second option for 6 to 12 would be a hybrid model. Group A would come in on Monday and Tuesday. Group B would come in on Thursday and Friday, and everyone would be virtual on Wednesday to do the group meeting. It's a little bit concerning. Our falls aren't that far long. Excuse me, they are long. They're keeping everyone at a 6-foot distance. So we need to keep an eye on our data, and I think that will continue to drive our instruction and which way we're going to be delivering. But this is something that we will absolutely be doing, and I'll be meeting with the task force, keeping the board informed, keeping the staff informed. This is going to be ongoing. It seems like March 13th happened, and we never stopped running the meeting until we get hopefully this behind us. So again, if the parents decide to stay, well, no, I'm more term two, I'm sorry, but I want to go back to term one. If you decide to stay with us again and have our teachers teach, you need to do nothing further there. In term two, you will have to decide what educational model you would like to do. At that point with term two, whether you want to do an abbreviated model or we want to look at the virtual or cyber model again. So we will make that decision October 9th, and we will keep parents abreast of that every time by October 9th, so we can make plans to have everybody educated where they feel the most comfortable and secure and safe. And that will come out in September, so not to worry. Term two, another option, the second option will be K to 12 virtual learning model, asynchronized and synchronized, continued virtual learning with the live streaming, what we're doing now, only adding a little more to it. And then option three, K to 12 would be the NC Cyber Academy. Again, they would have to do it in 2 weeks. This will be decided again, data drives it. So all depending on the data, this is a work in progress. It's nothing that I can say, so in October, this is what we're going to do. No, in October, this is our hope to do this. As we move forward, all the stakeholders will know what we're going to do. Okay. Return to school educational model. All proposed educational models, as I told you, must have 900, 990 hours, 180 days. During the virtual learning model, starting the school year, all students in grade 12, K to 12 will start off this year by learning virtually online from their home. This year, our virtual learning model will consist of blend of both synchronous and asynchronous learning using the Google Classroom and learning management system. School-issued devices. This is very important for the parents that are listening. School-issued devices will be provided all students to need them. How does this differ from ours? First of all, our teachers will be on the computer with the students much more. Secondly, we had asked families to share computers. Under this model, every child will need a computer. We still understand that they may be comfortable with the computer that you're using in your home. If not, we will provide some sort of device to for the continuity of education. Faculty and staff will report to the school buildings for their normal workday during the virtual learning model. Teachers will be available to assist students during regularly scheduled periods and blocks of time. The district will recommend all the best practices and virtual learning guidelines for teachers to ensure a healthy balance of synchronous and asynchronous learning, as well as screen time. At the current time, the district is considering a no homework policy. And why do I say no homework policy? In my four basic principles, I said health, I said health and safety, I said food and nutrition, social emotional learning. The students are going under enough pressure right now. My recommendation is that we do not give homework. I know that there will be some cases in a 9 to 12 because whether they're taking college courses or something like that, it may be necessary for homework. But as a group, I am saying that the homework at the elementary level will be eliminated probably up to 8th grade, unless there's something special the teacher must do. And 9 to 12, I'll leave that up to individual teachers as needed. But I would like to put a no homework policy in grade 8 to 8, and like I said, as needed 9. At any time you need me to stop, I'm good. Additional professional development for teachers, as I said, it's an ongoing 24 hours of training by September 1st. In addition, the teachers will be attending 4 days of service in August and will better prepare them to teach virtually. And again, our staff has been very, very good taking the courses, learning and wanting to know more about it. The building level administrators are creating virtual schedules to add structure for students who are learning from home. We encourage students to log on all during the day at the specified times for classes are scheduled so they can interact with the teachers by attending synchronized learning opportunities that will allow for real-time feedback and direct instruction, as well as completing asynchronized activities at that time so they can ask for help and collaborate with the teachers. Grade 7 to 12 will operate on a delayed bell schedule. This is very important. I was in there, but I want to make sure that the board understands. So we need, one of our goals, one of the 4 principles of Thursday each day is to make sure the children are being fed. And what we're going to be doing is we are going to have a 2-hour delay, and we're not going to call it a delay, we're delaying our schedule on Mondays, because during that time, the students will be able to get academic assistance that they need, remedial instruction, enrichment, intervention, and then the formal class will begin at 9:45. Why are we doing this? Because we want to make sure that the food distribution for breakfast and lunch are able, every one of our students are able to get their breakfast and lunch for the week. We're going to be, it's almost like a frozen meal, and they're going to be, Jeremy and his staff will be pre-packing them, and there will be 14 meals, 10, 5 breakfast and 5 lunch meals will be prepared and delivered. And as I go on, you'll see there's several sites that will be delivering to just, I think it's 75 plus sites that we're going to be going to every bus drop off, every bus stop. There also will be some 4 to 6 time that we'll be doing it at night. Parents and investors are working to accommodate them, and we have 5 different areas that I will be putting up here shortly of what we're going to be doing. So we want to make sure, like I said, one of our principles is to make sure our children have the right nutrition, and we're going to make every attempt we can to do it. Okay, term 2, or when it's safe to return. We're praying that on November 4th, it's safe to return. Our numbers are getting better. Hybrid learning is an educational model that blends various modalities, in-person and learning and virtual. This model will look differently at the elementary and secondary school. And like I said to you, the model that allows the students to attend class in person while others may be learning virtually from their home, that's synchronized and asynchronous. Educators can teach students learning from home and in-person students at the same time using their tools such as video conferencing, the Google Meet, live streaming. Faculty and staff will report to the school buildings for a normal workday during the hybrid learning. And that's during the second. K-5, what it'll look like without me getting into reading it all. K-5 will return to traditional in-person instruction in the brick and mortar classroom. This is second term. This is what we're looking for. They would arrive at 8:35 in the morning and leave at 12 p.m. in the afternoon, grab or go with their breakfast, back to their classrooms to eat, and then at the end of the day, they would stay in their room the whole entire time. At the end of the day, while leaving, grab a lunch, and they would be able to go home. And then 3 to 5 will be doing the same thing. Students will be required to complete asynchronized work. That's when the classes come in. And that gives us time to make sure that all of the building is clean and deep clean, sanitized, or whatever else we need to do. Students, teachers will be working with small groups if they need to be working with small groups. We'll be having virtual meetings with parents, we need that with parents, for mental health, or whatever that we would need to do, mental health. After students dismissal, as I said, the deep cleaning will take place. So K-2 tentative students arrive at 8:35 and leave at 12 p.m. All this, keep in mind, this will satisfy the 900. And then grades 3 to 5, same way, will be at 10 a.m. They arrive at 11:35 a.m. If you look, there's a sample schedule there, 100% return to school, hybrid schedule. We look at it. Any questions? Stop me at any time. I know I'm kind of moving on, but it's kind of a long presentation. Okay, very good. Hybrid learning for the 6 to 12 grade. In this model, students in grade 6 to 12 will be organized in 2 groups. That would be your A group and your B group. And that would be based on the student's last name or something of that. Look at it. Students will attend the brick and mortar school on assigned days, with 2 in-person days and 3 virtual days. This model will allow for smaller groups of students to be in the building. It will allow us social distancing, the 6 feet apart. All students will be engaged in virtual learning on Wednesdays, as I said, and so that we can do the grade 6 to 12, tentative student schedule will be 7:25 a.m. Bus students arrive and leave at 2:30 p.m. Bus dismissal. If you look, we have scattered in the second term. We have scattered the bus students and the walkers so that we kind of eliminate a rush to come in. So 7:40, the walkers, students will be arriving, and at 2:25, the bus dismissal will take place again for the any questions? Okay. Monday, there's a sample schedule. And do you have the sample schedule? So there's the sample schedule of what it will look like. And this is all going to be proposed to the public and to the teachers tomorrow. Or not proposed, it's supposed to be done tonight, tomorrow. Okay, NC Cyber School Academy is always an option, as we talked about it. That is the Ingenuity. I usually have a PA certified teacher. They have an approved curriculum. All students receive a Chromebook for this at home, school cyber, asynchronous option. What that means is, as I told you, all 3 course lessons, and these courses have been approved by the district, so we've been working closely with them, and it does meet the graduation requirements. The only thing that would be different is, like I said, you want the parents to make, and parents want their children to make contact with their teachers. They will be seeing their teachers on a daily basis. And this is a big difference. If your child's in grades K to 5, the parent will be needed to assist in that learning opportunity. This is the first time that we will be providing cyber school for K to 5. And we're offering that as an option, but again, my option would be to do our virtual The benefits of attending our local Newcastle Cyber Academy versus another one. And I keep saying Newcastle Cyber, Newcastle Cyber, Newcastle Cyber. But there are many other cyber schools. But if you want to look at Newcastle Cyber, the courses are approved and accepted by us. The Newcastle Cyber does its own orientation and enrollment meetings with one of our Newcastle faculty, academic and scheduling by talking to the guidance counselors. Newcastle area school district providing advice. IEP programs are overseen by Mr. Gonzaga and his staff. Access to the Newcastle area school district technology help desk is there. The district assigned cyber mentor, progress monitoring person is involved. Full access to the Kings Club after school program. Full access to athletics and extracurricular activities. Re-entry into transition plan for return to traditional school. The principal or counselor, the Newcastle area school district diploma to a graduating senior. Those are the good things about the Newcastle side. So if this is what we just wanted to put out there so the state would see this, and we would also say it again, these are pre-recorded lessons. That yes, we did okay, but when I say we okay, the district did approve the curriculum, but again, I'm looking at the social emotional. And I would love for our children that are able to stay to the virtual way and be able to. Newcastle area school district school education models continue. Students and teachers in the building, that's what two will follow the safety protocols developed in the health and safety plan found in the return to school education plan, which means that picture right there will not be a picture that we would do. That right there would not be a picture. I never realized that. That's something we would not do, but we would stick with the CPC guidelines and make students safe. Technology access and support. We're buying more devices, as you know. So all students will be learning from their phone. While we know much of the virtual learning work can be done on many different types of devices, we recommend our students use Google Chromebooks for the best possible experience. But in the event as a parent wants to use their own device, that's fine too. The district issued device and accessories you will be held financially responsible for parents for full repair or replacement of the class. The district provided the technology equipment waiver will be providing that to all parents to make sure that they sign off on it and know that this is a borrowed equipment as opposed to one that they can use. We will ask the parents to print the waiver out. There is a place there for them to click and continue to, so that they'll have the waiver signed. And as I move forward to the next slide, you'll see there that we've already planned that we'll be handing devices out from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on August 18th for the high school, grade 6, to August 19th for Washington, grades 3 to 5, the junior senior high school, 7 to 12. Will be getting their Chromebooks, and Harry W. Lawson will be getting their Android tablets on August 27th. Parents will be asked to drive up and will be communicating that as we go along all the way. They will be getting their devices and any materials that we need to help them succeed in their education. Last year, Mr. Mazzacco, Mr. Ambrosini worked hard getting the hot boxes, working with Comcast, and working with Comcast to get our anyone that needed for their Xfinity Wi-Fi spots in their area of the city. And we currently have little or no, they have currently no little or no access. I think that we're pretty good with that, Mr. Mazzacco.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we can. Okay, all students must abide by the district's technology acceptable use policies. All parents and students have already signed off on these policies at the beginning of the year and are stored on the file. Please review the file down with your children prior to completing your assignment. That will be for those parents who would like to know, or the board members, policy 815, 216, and 237, all related to technology. Technology help local New Hampshire school district will continue to keep building on it, submit an issue with technology to our help desk, and there is the help desk link and the help desk telephone. Food services, as I told you, 75 truck stops throughout the community. These meals will be cooked, strapped on site, vacuum sealed in a reheatable trays. There will also be a second chance distribution from 4 to 6 p.m. at 6 different locations on Mondays also, in the event that parents need something to or working and they are not able to substitute. Although Newcastle grading practices approved and used an adjusted grading system during the fourth quarter last year, grading will resume as normal. Percentages and letter grades with A, B, C, D. Teachers will be given guidelines on best practices for evaluating and assessing students in a virtual online setting. Any questions? And now I'm going on and on. It helps sending it home. That's great. Administrative team, attendance practices. The community will be communicating attendance procedures for virtual and hybrid learning models. We understand that COVID-19 presents many challenges that may affect attendance. The district will work with each student and family individually to address attendance and instructional needs. When absent due to a quarantine or illness, students will have access to virtual instruction no matter what teaching, whatever term we're in, and Google Classroom before they can keep up with the required coursework. Social and emotional wellness, the district will be committed to supporting students' social and emotional wellness. We have our guidance counselor, our social worker, students assistance program, our staff team program. The outside providers will continue to support us, and they'll be an integral part of our educational plan. Teachers will continue to foster those social and emotional learning skills and practice all the teachers. Okay. The Newcastle Health and Safety Plan highlight. We went over the Health and Safety Plan. I think we talked about it, we submitted it. What we're doing is we're asking parents for this health and safety. Some of the major things that we're asking for them to complete a self-help checking, including temperature, reading prior to sending the students to school. When we do get back to school, all students are feeling ill or have a temperature or asked to stay home. Volunteers and visitors will be strictly limited and will require approval from the administration. Instead, presently we're going to be parent unfriendly. We're just asking that we do everything virtual to try to get the numbers down so that we can get our kiddos back in the building. Students will not be allowed to carry in personal carry bags or personal items to and from school and home to minimize possible contamination of germs. I also know that there's some concerns that young ladies or men need certain things to bring into school with them or dress those as those needs are. School buses will be cleaned regularly and disinfected after the morning and afternoon runs. When feasible, windows will be open to increase circulation. Guard talked to the committee. They have a program that does deep cleaning, and the germs are to be they just ricochet off for 30 days. So, but in the event that they have to clean other things, sometimes children have accidents or something like that, they are requested and they will be cleaned. Students are not required to wear masks under the following circumstances. 3 circumstances, 3 of them. If they're sitting at their desk, they're 6 feet apart. If they're eating or drinking, still 6 feet apart. And if they're engaged in other activities, they're at least 6 feet apart. Now, I might be able to see that in 6th grade class, but I can't see it with the social, emotional, and everything with the kindergarten children. So that's something we are going to continue to work on and formulate something. I'm sorry.
I have a question.
Oh, it's missing an L in the headline. Highlights. Uh-oh. Okay, highlights. Thank you. I'm going to put yellow for highlights on everything. Thank you. Okay, our commitment to keeping schools clean. Joe has been on top of this. And Rosini working with different companies. We have sanitizing stations. We cleaning kits in the classroom will have disinfectant wipes, air sprayer, hand sanitizer, extra masks, gloves, paper towels, and Clorox spray. Mixing machines, we purchased 6 electronic sanitizer mixing machines. So we sell thermometers for the house, office, and athletics. Will continue. Face shields and extra masks. We have 200 face shields in the event that a teacher or student would rather wear shield as opposed to a mask. At this point, we've really just purchased it for the teachers because students are here, and I need to look at the data and see if it's enough. We purchased 825 tablets and 1,200 Chromebooks to ensure all students will have access to devices as needed. Social distancing signages, we have signages that are about to be used. And with that, we'll do this together. Any questions on that plan before we begin?
Jeff, this is going to be on for that part of this detailed plan for the parent.
So the parent, yes. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow morning, a meeting with the staff at 11 a.m. on a virtual meeting. And then in the afternoon, I'll be sending this out to the parent, I'll be sending out to the parent. They're invited to a Zoom meeting. This will be on this. This will be on the web. In the afternoon tomorrow evening. And what we're going to do is we're going to then go over, just like I'm going to go with you today, explain it. And then I'm going to have a panel here, and it'll be our administrators. So the administrators will take it down to their building and then you need to stuff. So if a mother can walk this way, or a dad can put this way, we want to try to do this. In the event we can't get everyone on, might try and use best to get everyone, but I think we're at a limit with the Zoom meeting. So we are going to record that meeting. We will do that for the parents to look. They can be on live and then they can go back and look again. If they have any questions, and then we'll have ways that they can get in touch with the administrators, and then the question and answers section on the web. Also, if there's general questions, instead of answering 20 of the same questions, we're going to do a question and answer section on the web. And it's already started.
Because you need to be informing the parents of the Zoom both the
There's now and text. Any other questions on that? So education is a camp for itself. And as you know, we have been back and forth with support. So today, I'd like to make a statement at our early meeting, and I would like to read it to the board. Chuck helped me. I talked with Chuck. I talked with Sammy. I talked to some of the coaches. I would like to say that I do feel bad what our students are going through and think about what they're going through, but I also understand these students were allowed to play starting in July when the numbers are low. So at this point, the PIAA, the governor made a recommendation, the WPIAL made a recommendation, and I feel like I'm, again, the hamster on the wheel, trying to to accommodate everyone. So I'd like to make this to the parents, and I'd like to have this to you. We, as a district, are committed to the health and safety of all our students and athletes, and recognize the social and emotional aspects as sports in the youth and growth and well-being of our young people. For many of our student athletes, athletics is a pathway to the future success. Unlike school, there is no virtual option. The governor, in conjunction with the CDC, Pennsylvania Department of Health, and PIAA, have put in place guidelines for safety for our student athletes. The district has and will continue to implement those safety measures as well as the future guidance or mandate. On August 21st, the PIAA plans to report back to the members of schools concerning fall sports. We too will reconvene at that time and discuss the future of our athletic team. Until and unless the governor PIAA, WPIAL determined fall sports championship, the Newcastle area school district student athletes will continue to prepare for the upcoming season. But, with that being said, any parent of a student athlete who chooses to opt out of any sport may do so without penalty, without any repercussions, including future participation. I ask the parents to make this decision. There is a waiver and sign stuff if you want to speak to this book.
Just that they fully understand what the students will be doing, how the sport will be conducted, and unfortunately there is a risk of infection with COVID in a nutshell.
And then the waiver, it did state that. But I
Yeah.
do want parents to be assured that we are not pushing anyone's hands in playing. And we're not pushing our hands until we get a firm decision with sports, not only because sports have started, and I can't see us canceling right now in the middle. If just, there's no virtual way of doing that. I don't know what to do with children, but if the board has other suggestions, I'm open. Like, I'm not strong either way. Okay, so just to let you know, what I did is today, I got on the Department of Health webpage and I was looking for different things. One of the things I found was a sheet, and it has every county broken down. And every county is broken down into whether it is low, full in-person model, or blended learning model, moderate, blended learning model, or full remote learning model, or substantial, full remote learning model. There's only one district in the entire, one county in the entire state that is substantial. The rest of them are either low, or moderate, low. Lawrence County happens to be moderate. So I believe wholeheartedly tonight that I put in front of this board to begin the first time with the virtual model. So that's for the work session. Okay. Thank you.
You guys took your time, didn't rush into it.
Thank you for that. We did what I felt from the bottom of my heart. My administration agreed with me. We sat around this table many days, or on a Zoom meeting many a day, and we looked at all the pros. Every pro we came up with came up with one. Every con we came up with came up with some of the pros. So it was a difficult decision, but on my part, I feel like that I'm bringing to the board for on that myself in administration. And my staff, everyone that had, and the parents that showed on the past year gave us a lot of good help. Okay, Mr. Mozart, is there anything that you have to add today?
We work hard preparation. We take care of any of the parents' questions. Coming up. We need everybody individually.
Thanks, John. Emily, anything you'd like to add?
No, Debbie, I think you did a great job explaining it all. I think that, like I said, I think once we get teachers and parents informed, that's when it all starts. So, no, thank you.
I'm thinking after Thursday, we'll have a good building. Once we meet with the parents, I think that the ones that see our sincerity and our territory.
I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah.
Are some microphones have more clarity than others that I'm listening to?
There's no microphone being used here. Emily's the only one that was on the microphone.
Emily's, I could hear very well. Maybe it's my computer here, I don't know.
No, it's not, because it's hard to understand what they're saying in the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
From there, I have it adjusted all the way up.
Yeah.
We may have to turn these on, the audio system in here.
Yeah, well, did you have a hard time hearing me, Norman?
You know, off and on, yes, Debbie, to be honest with you, but thank God we could read along while you were talking.
Yeah, it sounds very muffled on my end, Mrs. de Blasio.
I don't have, this is the loudest we could be right now.
Well, now I can hear you better.
Wait a minute, did I turn something on?
No,
No.
Norman, this is a me thing. I'll fix it.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Deli. Debbie, you're gonna have to go through this all over again.
Uh,
No. Yeah, you wait.
Tonight we'll go through it again.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay, are there any other questions or concerns of what I talked about, what you heard me and what you read?
Mrs. de Blasio, I have one quick question.
Please.
Tracy.
This is Tracy.
Okay, Trey.
Oh, okay, so I saw on there where you said that the students who receive support services like mental health or other issues are going to continue to be able to receive them.
They're going to continue, absolutely. They will be continued. And we've met with the community agencies that provide us with the help. Our staff team will still be intact at the high school, our intervention teams at the elementary.
Okay, that's awesome. I just have one other question. I was at another board meeting and we brought up the discussion about the fact that most child abuse cases or wellness cases are actually reported by teachers in school. So I was wondering, is there any way we could work in like a wellness check for the rest of the students?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Tracy. A wellness check for students at their home?
Yes, like just maybe a student, like the nurse was able to do a ride along with the food deliverer, and they could see the kids once in a while.
So Tracy, one of the things that I'm going to be doing this week is meeting with the nurses. They actually have some ideas with that. And also, I don't know if you're aware, but we have the McDonald-Mobile that comes up twice a month. And they are going to look in and make sure that those students, while we're out, take that opportunity to make sure those that need physical, get physical, those that need immunizations, get immunization, those families that need support in any of the health. Like our nurses normally call back and forth to pediatricians or families need assistance. So the nurses and the guidance counselors will be keeping on top of that.
Okay, that's great. Just wanted to make sure there was, some opportunity for that.
Oh, yeah.
Debbie, one other question I have. This is Norman.
Yeah, Norman.
The virtual and cyber essentially is non-building, correct?
Right.
Well, I'd like to thank all of you for all the work you put into it. But, I'm looking at non-building because I'm extremely cautious, like all of you are. But what is the essential difference between verbal and cyber?
Okay, so virtual is real life teaching. That's called synchronizing, like Emily has said, Norman, where you actually get to talk to your teacher like I'm talking to you now.
Okay.
And asynchronized, where you're doing a project and your teacher is monitoring you or tells you tomorrow, bring it back and let's talk about it. So that is your synchronized, that's your virtual program, where you're actually getting online time and activities that are being given to you by your teacher, a teacher in that building. A cyber school, Norman, is a cyber school that we okay all of the classes, but they're all recorded. So there's not any personal contact that you have with the student, and they're not our teachers. They're Pennsylvania certified teachers, So not our teachers, that is in the deed, when we do go back, they will have a good understanding of this.
Thank you very much.
Yep, no problem. Anything else? Okay, Mr. Sapiens, I'm sorry, do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay, Mr. Ambrosini?
I have nothing to
You have just
add for, yes, your presentation.
okay, so can we go into executive session at this point? Or do you want to go into your business?
It doesn't matter.
Let's do your business, we'll take a short time for executive, and then go back into our meeting. Is that right? That's the business, that's what executive.
Okay, the first item are our financial reports, and they're presented through the month of July 31st, 2020, which is the first month of our new year. They're listed on Exhibit A. The treasurer's report is listed on Exhibit B. The student activities report is listed on Exhibit C. If there are any questions, please ask. Item 7 are the travel requests, and again, this month, there's no travel to present to the board. Item 8 are the district payments that were made through the month of July and the various accounts that they came out of. Item 9 are the property tax exonerations that we approved or will need to be approved. Item 10 is the transportation contract to start the new school year, because we're still going to be transporting special education students, as well as non-public school students that were required. Okay.
One super percentage, one for union, I think.
Okay.
Something like that.
There's one aid.
So my question is that aid, are we hiring that
No.
aid?
We hire the aid, but we get reimbursed for the aid. That's so much of that. So we cover all of our costs.
So is this going to be a new position, or is it somebody that we currently have on staff?
I don't know how the bidding went, but last year we had the same agreement with the sheriff. So if I may, is it going to be the same person with on the?
No, I think for this, there's new addition to our staff.
No. They're hired through the bus. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, thank you.
So they're not going into our
clarification.
bargaining. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Not all of them, or just the one? I mean,
The only one that we have, so guys on the bus, is the emergency aid. That we arrive on the bus, take care of these people, and that is. The rest of them are all hired.
so then we want to, okay. Thank you.
Okay. These are the various contracts, and these are ones that actually the district receives money from the other schools because we're transporting them. And we get reimbursement on the aid. Item D is Grade Run Lutheran Services Contract Addendum. We approved this, I believe, last month or a month before, but this is another school district, not school district, but educational institution that we send some kids, special needs kids, that's on Exhibit L. No change in money, just there's an addendum to the actual language. Item C is our E-rate consulting contract, and that's an annual contract that we award every year. This is where we get reimbursement for a lot of our computer and technology purchases. We get back about 80% of our money on certain items after you go through an application process. But we actually use a consultant, and they bill us $1,500 a month. But to give you a point of comparison, last year we received $89,000 in reimbursement. So things probably, I mean, James Foster and me and Mike work on it over YouTube, but we've been using this company now for about 6 or 7 years. Item D is educational services. Again, board action is requested to approve a contract with the Mango Area School District to provide educational services to one of their students who will be attending the life skills classroom at the W. Walker Early Learning Center, and that cost is $30,900. And again, the same student was with us last year. Item 11 is no cost to the district, but we do offer a student accident insurance policy if parents wanted their child covered during the day and even after hours. There's two options. Those are listed on Exhibit N. And that again is an annual, contract or agreement that we sign, to give the kids an opportunity. Sitting away from the next page. But item 12, just some matters of information that I wanted to discuss next week. The spokesperson for AT&T, the architect and engineer, he will be attending our meeting just to explain some more, or to give more insight on what the actual tower will look like, where exactly it is going. He'll fill any questions, answer any questions that we have. But he wanted to make sure that we have a comfort level within this room before he starts pulling out and doing what they have to do to start putting the tower up. So that's going to happen next week, and I gave him 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So the other issue is that bond refunding update. I think I told you about this at budget time. That's probably going to be available November, December. We'll start seeing our financial advisor and our bond counsel come in, I would say, as early as next month, September, not the next meeting, and then we'll discuss the opportunity for us. And all it is a refinancing of one of our bonds. So it saves us a lot of money. The only other thing that you guys noticed, we were approached, Debbie and I, from Comstock, who's the CEO of Orange County NCASD partnership, and they had I'm going to call it a party tent, to put up, and they wanted to put it up near the stadium. So I just wanted to, it's not up yet, but we're in discussion with them to make sure it works and it doesn't interfere with anything down at the stadium. It will be a nice addition. Debbie and I saw the tent, but we want to make sure the location fits where it doesn't interfere with any track or cross country, those kind of things. So I'll keep you updated on that. I just wanted to let you know if you hear anything. Yeah, we were approached from the North Office to them about it. It would be used for handicap seating, people that were if it rained and they couldn't, they want to go up to the seats. But it will be closer to the field, but there will be enough room that it won't interfere with anything. I want to talk to you, but I'm going to wait until September. But we have a tax abatement form. It doesn't get used that often. But there's some things on there that's been so old, and I want to say it's been since 1990 that it's been updated. But I want to take a look at changing some of the requirements to get a tax abatement from the school district. There's not that much that happens within the school and the city, but when it does, I just want to make sure that we're not just giving it to everybody, for everyone. So I just want to make it a little, the dollar amount of your improvement has to be taxed instead of where it is now. That's just not enough, in my opinion. But I want to share that with the board. I just didn't have a chance to do it for this meeting. And I'll explain. That's the one where we give property tax owners 5 years of rebate, so they don't pay any taxes on their improvements, or if it's a new house, on nothing except for rent, on anything except for rent. I just want to tighten it up a little bit. If you haven't revisited it in a while, something happened. The other item, if you remember, Tracy, Ms. Rankin mentioned last month about reimbursement on our insurance policy for the closure. I had discussion. I sent an email out, and I did get an email back. There's a possibility we can get up to $10,000 of reimbursement, but we're going to get at least, I would say, $2,500. So it could fall somewhere in between. And for that, I thank you, Tracy, for all this book with an email. So, and I'll share that with the board when we get the actual refund. But there's an email that will set the course. The only other item I have to talk about is our health care, and that is the report that's included in the packet today shows that in 2019, 20 years that ended June 30th, we had another surplus of $1.6 million. So the last 3 years, we've had a surplus of about $6.5 to $7 million. So it's been trending great for us, and our rates are reflected in that. It helps us going budget wise. And the only thing I want to say, hopefully for next Monday night, I want to share with you, because I think that day I wanted to put it together, how we're going back to school, how it's going to affect the budget financially. And there's nothing major either way, but I at least want to share with you and then maybe the generator the stuff and just say, how about this, how about that, you know, so I'm gonna have that for the board, on Friday. When it goes out. My packet, because there'll be some additions from next fall. And that's all I have.
Before we go into executive session, I did want to tell you, those of you that see my photo, last night I got a phone call from Mr. Dora down at the rack on the garage door. Someone painted death with solar signs. And they put this on, we contacted the police. I have James looking at the film to see if we can find out who it is. My suggestion is if we do, we prosecute that. This is damage unnecessary on a Sunday night. So I wanted the board to be aware of that. And I checked into it. I don't know that it means anything, but on the other hand, totally unacceptable. And it took up most of my Sunday evening because I was so upset. The same way. So I don't know what it means. I don't know if it has a meaning or it's just something.
I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing you, Debbie. Mrs. de Blasio, I'm sorry.
Okay, I said last night, Tracy, in the evening, I got a phone call about 7:30. It ruined my evening. That on the door of the rack, someone spray painted the word death with a dollar sign. And I have the police on it. I have James looking at film. And my suggestion is whoever it is, we prosecute them whatever way we can. And I agree with you. I'm over it. I'm over it. It angers me. We do such nice things and somebody like this takes a shot at the district.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question.
Is this a board member?
No, I didn't know if I was allowed to talk or not.
You'll have to sign up for the board meeting there.
Oh, okay.
Mike, could you explain how to sign it up now?
Yeah, basically what we're gonna do is get on the NCASD website and click on the board meetings link and sign up with the Google form. It'll put your name on a list and you'll have 5 minutes to speak when it's appropriate, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
5 minutes, that'd be great. If you would do that, if we're going to go in executive session, then you can come back in and speak. I would be more than happy you may have.
Okay, this is Leo Mackel, executive staff.
Stop recording. Kill us. Yeah, give me a second.
Other than you can leave Mr. Lyles and Mrs. Ray.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
Personnel. It will be a matter of, I mean, I'm looking at names, I know them. I think everybody in?
Yeah, everybody's in. That's 27 total people, including all board members, and we're good to go.
Okay. All right. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent reflection? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this meeting is now called to order. Joe, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Bonatero? Here. Mrs. Humphrey?
Here.
Mr. Lyles?
Here.
Mr. Moses? Mr. Pinella?
Here.
I know no one's here. Ms.
Moses is here.
Yep, I know. Ms. Pascarella? Here. Ms. Rankin?
Here.
Mr. Amabel?
Here.
Mrs. Flea?
Here. Board policy that permits residents and taxpayers who have signed up to speak before the board of a 5-minute time limit. We will try to adhere to this policy also. Please refer all questions to the chair, not to individual board members. Do we have anybody signed up?
Thus far, no.
Is there anybody on the lady that was going to ask a question a parent maybe unable to sign on. If you're there and want to ask it.
It was the iPhone user person, but that there's two, so I'm not sure who it
The
was.
rest of them,
Well, that's,
many of them are teachers, but I don't know, some of them like Douglas, I don't know.
okay.
Okay.
All right. Mrs. DeBlasio will now give the superintendent's report.
Retirement and resignations. Board actions requested to accept the retirement of Mrs. Linda Hartman, PCA, at HW Lockley Early Learning Center, effective as of June 8, 2020. Can I give them all together?
Yeah.
Thank you. Board actions requested to accept the resignation of Mr. Matt Dado, Tech Ed Robotics teacher, Newcastle Junior Senior High School, effective August 17, 2020. And board action is requested to accept the resignation of Miss Aria Washington, English teacher, Newcastle Junior High School, effective August 18, 2020.
Second. Discussion?
Yeah, I
All
want to
in
thank Mr. Dato for everything he's done.
I know, that's a lot.
It's amazing.
I agree with that, Mark.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
School calendar revised. Board actions requested to approve the attached revised school calendar for the 2020-21 school year.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Return to school education plan. Board actions requested to approve the attached draft return to school education plan.
Moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Phased reopening of the health and safety. Board action is to approve the attached phased reopening health and safety plan.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
Okay. Superintendent's matters of information, we will have another meeting on, what should we say? I've been saying all week, August 17th. I've been saying the 20th. So
Yeah.
So August 17th, our work session at 5 and regular meeting immediately to follow. We could do a Zoom meeting or like we have done today, whatever is good for you. Thank you. Any,
Is there any other new business to be brought before the board? Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
And meeting's adjourned.
thank you.
Thank you.
Right.